What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Couch Talk. We are back after a couple day little hiatus. Want to take a little break, go do some fun activities, take a little trip. It's been beautiful here, so I wanted to get out and about, get off the technology, get off the computer for a little bit. But we're back, So today, again, there's not a whole lot of structure to this video. It's just a real honest video of are you happy with your life? Sounds a little crazy, but I feel like especially if you're in school kind of pushes you in this one direction, of you go to high school, you go to college, you get this real world job. And listen, I'm a full proponent, go to college, get a full-time job. But the piece that I will say is I feel like a lot of people get into these majors and then graduate with these majors that then become they end up hating their jobs post-grad, So what I'll say is I'll use accounting for an example, right? If you're someone that got an accounting degree and then end up getting into the workforce and end up hating the real world of accounting versus the actual book content of accounting in a classroom, life is not over. There are so many jobs, so many different things you can do to have a career that you're happy with, and I'll even step back into college of if you get into a major, get, say, a semester in, and you're a freshman or sophomore, dude, switch your major. That's okay. That's cool. Nowadays it's so normal to do what they call a fifth year, just because you switched your major. It doesn't make you look bad, doesn't mean any of that. It just shows that you're exploring your options. And I think it's so important to explore your options, because kind of like I said, the last thing you want to do is get into a major you love, find out that you just love the textbook aspect of it but not the practicality of it. So I think that's a really, really important thing to do of are you actually happy with what you're doing with your life? And not only the job aspect, but the people you're around. Do you have good people around you, This sounds harsh, but if you're not happy with the people you're around, it's cool to cut people out. Now I would not recommend just, if you're having a bad day, just go and cut everybody out. I would not recommend that, because I think everyone just has bad days here and there. So it's one of those things that's, everybody has a different view on this of especially in the job world. There's something called employee loyalty or job loyalty, right? If you're a new grad, and this is just my opinion, if you're a new grad and you get into a job and you're 6 months to a year in and you find out you hate it, dude, you owe no loyalty to that company, especially if it's a first or a second job. I'm convinced that company loyalty, employee loyalty to a company, that'll come down the road when you're really solidified in your position. But I've also heard the flip side of that regardless of the company you join, you got to be loyal to them from the jump. And I'm more on the side of, if it's your first job out of college, bro, do what you got to do. Get yourself get a year or two under your belt and then bounce. Because I've spoken about this before in previous videos of this generation is the generation of not feeling locked into an employer. We're the generation that will speak up. We're the generation that will bounce if we're not feeling like we're treated right, not getting paid fairly, whatever the case is. So, like I said, if you're not happy 6 months to a year in, and you feel like you've gotten enough experience to maybe get a little blurb on your resume, be able to speak to it well enough, then yeah, bro, bounce. But on the flip side of that, I would not recommend dipping after 90 days because I don't think you have the credentials to speak to a job after 90 days because you're just getting past that, like, quote unquote 90-day review period. That's a whole different story. But like I said, man, you get in 6 months, a year in, find out you hate it and you feel like you can speak to it enough, dude, bounce to something new. So, that's going to be my spiel on, like, are you happy with your life, whether it be professional, friendship, or even relationships, man. If you find that you just feel stuck in a relationship, you don't feel like neither of you are growing, that could be a sign to bounce, spend some time with yourself, and then find something new after that. But again, that's a whole nother conversation, but kind of goes back to what I said. Just because if you're having a bad day, don't just bounce out of a relationship just because. But yeah, at the end of the day, everyone's happiness is based on different things. Not everyone's happiness is what's gonna make me happy, not what's gonna make my friends happy, not what's gonna make whoever happy. So at the end of the day, man, just it's important to kind of own your own life. It's important to just do what makes you happy. Now, be responsible with what makes you happy. Don't make, like, quote unquote, like, blind decisions where you don't know what's on the other side of that door. And I'll use the whole job thing for an example. Like, don't just dip on a job and not have one lined up. Like, have another job lined up prior to bouncing, because you will put yourself in a very difficult situation, especially nowadays, based on from what I'm seeing as somebody that is full-time job hunting. Dude, it's hard. It is time consuming and it is difficult. It's not an easy job market right now. So if you're really seriously considering that new job, like, stick out however long it takes until you get that new job, and then put in that 2 weeks and then hit that new job. But yeah, guys, that's just a little rant for the day. Hopefully later this week I'll have some more structured ideas and thoughts. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up today. All right, peace.